please do stay on mute. There's a lot of folks on this call, and we get that terrible echo effect going real quick if we get too many folks talking at once. Uh,
Drew,
yes, ma'am.
what month is Mother's Day?
Probably not March. I don't know. I just said that. It's been a long day. Thanks, Cindy.
It does start with an M.
It
May.
does start with
May.
It's still
that
Women's History Month.
summarizes
I
you,
got.
Drew. You got a new mother in your house.
Yeah, thanks, Drew. I'm confused enough about all those dates: anniversaries, birthday, Mother's Day, and now just put it 2 months ahead. Now I'm really messed up. Awesome.
This is why I need you guys to keep me straight. Um, but yeah, so we're gonna dive right into the agenda here. It is jam packed, if anything, even more jam packed than the February call. So we're gonna try to roll through this, get you guys all the info you need to do all the things that you need to do. So here is the overall agenda. Same general stance as last week. We'll go through our geographic areas. We'll go through our different functional areas. Wrap it up with some announcements and recognition. Kick it off with some stats and updates. This is your monthly Teddy update. March has been pretty rough so far, so Teddy's message to everybody is get a helmet. You're gonna need it. We got kicked by Uri. We keep getting kicked by COVID, and we are just at the beginning of tornado season, so we got more fun coming. Everybody's standing orders. You guys recall these from last month. They remain mostly the same, with one slight alteration there in the middle. We continue to respond to the coronavirus wherever, whenever, however we can. We continue to respond to Winter Storm Uri wherever, whenever, however we can. You guys will hear a lot about the work that's been going on those fronts throughout this call. And then certainly, last but not least, we stand ready to respond to new disasters as they crop up. Also, just friendly reminder, we are not alone in the fight out there. We need our friends and sister organizations to come out and serve alongside us. We've had a few at some of these VAX operation sites, but there isn't a VAX operation site out there that couldn't use them. So if you guys are in these other meetings, be advertising this stuff to those folks. We need their boots on the ground. We need their help getting shots into arms. With that, I will pass it off for our sit rep. Who's covering my sit rep?
I say that will be me. Actually, I forgot to brief Farrago. This was one of Steve's responsibilities. So sorry, guys. It's Elizabeth. So as you guys can see, we are still continuing to knock out more neighbors helping neighbors across the country, but as well as in the branch. I think you'll see some updates later on in the geo areas highlighting some of the things they've got going on. We've got 35 current active COVID operations across the country. You'll see updates later as well about how many are going on in our territory. There are quite a few. We have completed 5 core ops responses. 3 of them are in South Branch, and rebuild is still trucking along, even though they had to take a pause for the winter storm. So that is your current operational sit rep for across the country. With that, again, Neighbors Helping Neighbors is still out there. You guys can see we're slowly ticking up. We as South Central, I will say, we are still sitting at the bottom, but that doesn't mean we aren't getting good shit done. So keep it up and encourage your gray shirts to get out there and log their Neighbors Helping Neighbors hours. All right, and this is me covering down for Dennis, who is out on PTO. So for Oklahoma and North Texas, we did have two operations that we stood up and demobbed in the last month. Op Leanderthaw, they got a lot of saw work done, and Hey Abbott, they did a great muck out. And we also got Gary Curry back out into the field after a long year of being in COVID jail, so that was very exciting. And so with that, we're continuing in the GEO to assess the unmet needs for Winter Storm Uri. We know there's quite a few kind of one-offs that are looking like they're in the GEO area. Continuing to build out the Metro team and expand our vaccination support. We are currently running Tarrant and Garland, actually just demobbed today. Throw it back to you, Drew.
Over to Evan.
Can y'all hear me? Okay, there it goes. Unmute button's not deciding to work. Hi, guys. So updates for us. We want to welcome 2 of our new leaders, Roxy Robertson. She will be joining us as our new state wellness lead. She comes to us with a background in program management, humanitarian relief, and crisis intervention. And so passion for disaster response and the Gray Shirt experience. So we're super excited to see her grow our wellness program in Louisiana. And then we're also welcoming Nick Lohman. He will be our state training lead, and he comes to us with a background in fire services and security. So we're excited for him to be on board and work with our brand training team to build out a fast training program. So welcome to both of you guys. We're excited to have them join the team and looking forward to them doing great things. And then for the team in general in our GEO area, we are continuing to identify opportunities for local Gray Shirts to serve the community through Neighbors Helping Neighbors initiatives. We had shirts respond to Winter Storm Uri by passing out meals, cases of water, and hygiene products in Shreveport, and then coordinating warehouse logistical support for local partners in Baton Rouge. And then another continual Neighbors Helping Neighbors opportunity that we have has been providing volunteer support to vaccination sites in New Orleans through NOLA. And then our local New Orleans team did great work this weekend, restocking and unloading our trailer and cache in order for us to be fully prepared for hurricane season. So super grateful for everyone who came out and all their hard work. We're continuing to drive efforts to increase coordination on both the state and local level to identify communities in both the states that have unmet needs specifically for vaccination distribution support. And so we're hoping to have expected traction soon. And it's been great seeing everyone come together, new leaders, old leaders, and everyone's eagerness to get. And that's it for me. Back to you, Drew.
Thank you, Evan. Next up is New Mexico and West Texas, which Amanda's out. Who's covering?
That's me, Drew. Dan, I'm finally here again.
Hey, Dan, what's going on, buddy?
Yes, surviving. Trying to get back into this. I've been really busy with work. So we want to welcome Tom Walmsley. Most of you probably know him already. He's been around for a while. He's been everywhere. He's now our West Texas training lead. He does a lot of the ICS 300, 400 classes already. He is also a state emergency manager, and he does a lot of the state training here in New Mexico also. We had an operation in Midland, Texas, successfully demobbed, so we're good there. In Hobbs, New Mexico, we did a trailer fire recovery. That was over a weekend. That went really well. You can see the picture there. And starting in March, we're doing El Paso, March now. So through April 2nd, operations in El Paso, Texas. So that's what we got. We're moving along here. So we're doing good. I'll keep it short and sweet.
Thank you, Dan. Pushing down south, covering down in the absence of Amanda and team. Big main effort down for the South Texas team right now is standing up the operation in Refugio, Texas, Op Rangers Right, which should be kicking off this weekend. Big ups to Gary Curry and Chase Adams for stepping in to lead that team, and huge ups to Trish Lucas for stepping up to train them all in core ops once we get in the field. Also, new leaders on that front, Don Keller stepping forward as another new field operations leader. So thank you, Don. Welcome to the team. And then last but certainly not least, South Texas Ops Associate is still in hiring rounds for us, but we hope to have that role filled post haste and beginning in April to kick off some great work with that team. And then my saved round, I know the Houston team is working hard, pulling muck outside of crisis cleanup, so we should have another op on the board down in South Texas pretty soon here. So look for updates on that. That's all we got down in South Texas. We're going to keep on rolling over to the Carolinas.
Hi, y'all. So I don't know if I know y'all. I was not here. I was on vacation for the last meeting. So my name's Christine Buckley. I'm the operations associate for the Carolinas. And we're going to do something a little bit different for our slide tonight. So bear with us. Hopefully this goes well. So we're going to start by kind of briefing you guys out on what our completed initiatives are. So Jack. Over to you for Atrium 1.0 and 2.0.
Atrium Healthcare actually staged 2 mass vaccination events, one in January, and there was in February. The first one, we had a total of 48 hours notice to stand up 15 gray shirts to provide traffic control and some pedestrian assistance at the entry to Bank of America Stadium. This was a bit of a challenging one since they had elected to stage this event in Uptown Charlotte. We apparently did a good enough job that they asked us to come back and redesign our same efforts, repeating that. So we brought 25 back in February to go through the second dose initiatives. Both events were considered significantly successful and earned us some letters of appreciation from Emergency Management, the Panthers organization, and Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. Thanks, Chrissy.
All right, thanks, Jack. All right, Sherry Porterfield, do you want to tell them about Quarry Creek? And while you're telling them about Quarry Creek, tell them about also the upcoming initiative that's going to come directly from that.
Yes, ma'am. We had a muck out in Craven County for a senior whose home was flooded 2.5 years ago during Hurricane Florence, and she had not gotten any help. So we helped Miss Mary out. We mucked her house out. We scheduled it for 4 days. Kate Asson completed it in 2 days. The LTRG was so impressed, she's asked us to come back to do one a month for her. So we're going to do another one in 2 weeks and have a core ops class there on site too to help a single mother of 3 out who's got head damage also since Hurricane Florence 2.5 years ago.
All right, thanks, Sherry. So moving on to current initiatives, why don't you also hold the mic and tell us about the Onslow County vaccine support?
Okay, we started out as Neighbors Helping Neighbors for 3 weeks. We had a solid showing of 5 to 6 gray shirts a day, which is what the ask was for. So we give between 500 and 800 shots a day. We walk the seniors up and down the halls. We've had between 12 and 15, last count I did, new gray shirts sign up and be participants. And we pack our lunch and we sit at lunch every day and have like an indoor campfire and have gray shirt moments and talk for lunch. So we're having a great time.
All right, great. Thanks so much, Sherry. Tara, can you tell us a little bit about the Fayetteville Vaccine Op?
Sure thing. So similar to Onslow County, started out as Neighbors Helping Neighbors, and now we're on our second of a 30-day vaccine operation. And so we're over at the Crown Coliseum doing the same thing, a lot of screening procedures, traffic control, and yeah, we get people out every day, about 5 people, and it's going well so far.
Great, thanks so much, Tara. All right, back to either Jack or Mike to brief out on how the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Public Health vaccination support's going.
Yeah, early in January, they had asked us to support Mecklenburg County Public Health's ongoing initiative with a 5-day-a-week program held at Bojangles Coliseum, which then expanded to another implementation at EMS agency headquarters and some various community sites. We've continued to evolve this in cooperation with the National Guard work, concentrating on the effort at big headquarters for first responders, extending that to 5 days a week there. And by request, we've extended our engagement through 31 March. That's it, Chrissy.
All right, thanks, Jack. All right, so for Neighbors Helping Neighbors, as you heard, the current initiatives, a few of those start off as Neighbors Helping Neighbors, and then we move them into operational periods. So to talk about some of our long-standing Neighbors Helping Neighbors, I'm going to have Mike Ford talk about the Asheville Farmers Market. Mike? Okay, Mike, if you're there, you're muted. All right, so I'll talk for Mike. My apologies. So The Asheville Farmers Market happens every Thursday. We get 1 to 3 gray shirts. We do this every week. They have us going for 3 weeks, and we are taking a hard look to see if there's something that we can support as an operation, or if we're going to continue having Neighbors Helping Neighbors for the next round of cycle. Another longstanding one that we've had is the Charlotte Loaves and Fishes. And then Joe or Mike, would you just tell us quickly about that?
Yeah, Chrissy, this is Mike. We've been conducting operations on Mondays at Charlotte Loaves and Fishes Food Pantry since November. We've averaged 5 gray shirts and then augmented other civilians, part of the Loaves and Fishes volunteer program, pumped out anywhere from 250 on an average to over 700, depending on the number of volunteers, of weekly food boxes for individuals, dry goods and canned goods, which are married up with then the perishables and delivered around the Mecklenburg County area of operation. It is continuing, and it's a really good opportunity for our Neighbors Helping Neighbors program.
All right, thanks, Mike. And then Randolph County, Robin. So Robin's not technically part of our leadership team, but she's been running this since November. So Robin, go for it.
Hey, Randolph County Health Department, COVID vaccination clinic. I am a gray shirt of 1, but we're a small operation doing big things, about 500 or 600 shots a day, 5 days a week. And I basically do whatever they need me to do, from traffic control to opening Band-Aids.
All right, thank you, Robin, for your dedication to Randolph County. Some upcoming initiatives that we have. Sherry already told you guys about the Craven County Muck Out. That's the continuation from the Hurricane Florence. So Mike, do you want to tell us quickly about Gaston County?
Sure. Gaston County Emergency Management reached out to us to support 2 operations. One, a public health operation in a mall parking lot, which they have pretty well covered. The second one is for Carolmont Hospital, Regional Hospital. 12 gray shirt. We're conducting the Advon now, but 12 gray shirts to support this operation in and around the hospital. Traffic control, personnel management, or marshaling, I should say, and other back shop operations to support them. We should have this locked up in the next few days from the Advon. That's it.
Awesome. Thanks, team. And additionally, we have a St. Patty's Day sit and sip that will be coming up and being hosted by the Carolinas membership team. Next slide, please. There's a lot that's been going on in the Carolinas in the last few months, so I'm trying not to hog up all the time. There's been a ton of leadership changes. Starting back in November, there was a group of stakeholders that were assembled to take a look at the areas in the Carolinas to figure out what was the best way we could utilize our leadership to cover some of the leadership gaps that we had. Some changes have happened. Jack Randy, welcome aboard as the Carolinas area's admin. And then we have 2 deputy area admins. One is Dan Bredesen, who will focus on leadership development and giving our leaders the support that they need to be able to go out there and get shit done. And then William Jameson, who is going to be focused on preparedness. So really helping preparedness, not planning, just to be very clear, y'all, to make sure that the teams in the different metros have the tools that they need to be able to make sure we can put together a Carolinas pre-plan. Additionally, we are looking at some different admin roles. We are currently looking and scheduling interviews for an Eastern admin to cover the Eastern Carolina area. There is a picture. You can see how we divide the Carolinas. It's no longer across state borders. Grant and Mike will be taking over Central and Western Carolinas respectively. Sherry Porterfield is going to take over as the area planning. Amy Smith will be Carolina's area membership to be helped out with deputies of Pam and Kathy, and the Eastern person will also be determined in the near future. Carl Wilkie will become our area tech, and Megan Moss and Julie Simpson will be covering down on Carolina's comms. So a ton of things that are happening, a ton of moving pieces. If you're from the Carolinas and you've missed the Carolina briefing on this, please hit me up and let me know. I'll be happy to walk you through those changes and why they are made. All right, thank you. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Chrissy. We're going to kick it over to Brittany and team.
Thank you, Chrissy, for leaving me no time. No, I'm just kidding. It is really hard to, can we update the slide? No? Okay. I'll just talk then. It's hard to follow Chrissy because Carolinas are clearly doing a lot of operations. Florida is maintaining vaccination operations that are ongoing in Volusia. County, Escambia County, and Nassau County. All three of those are the vaccination sites that are ongoing. We now have an ask from St. Lucie County, and that will be 1 day a week. It's our newest ask. It is not in EMS yet. We also have a Neighbors Helping Neighbors planned for the Tampa area that's coming up as well. We have new leaders. Michael Frost is our Orlando admin, and Steve Noreen is our Fort Lauderdale admin. We want to give a big shout out to Mike Lowe, our Florida comms person. Thanks to Mike, we've had several mentions in the news for the vaccination operations. Another upcoming thing that we are doing on the Florida Facebook page, you can find where we've been advertising the BFIT Step Challenge. That's coming up, I believe, the 22nd to the 29th, and it's being hosted by a Boston team. Sorry, it's like I've never heard of them before because I'm not a big sports person, but if you want to join the virtual step challenge, you can do so with the link on the Facebook page. Other than that, we also have a St. Patty's Day sit and sip coming up that will be hosted by our Metro admin, Mark Suggs, who is Irish. So beat that, Chrissy. That's it for me, guys.
Thank you, Brittany. Up to Jimmy's team.
Hey, folks. Gosh, I've learned so much from listening to my counterparts here that I would have added to these slides, but as you can see, I would prefer to put new leaders and thank yous over most everything. First off, thanks to all the women on our team. I'm fortunate to enjoy working with all the women that I do every day and everybody on this call. So thanks, y'all. And also my mother and my grandmothers are a very important part of my raising. So they don't know that. So tell them if you see them. So we have some new leaders in Savannah. We have Harry Gardner and Ted Redmond that are just brought onto the team. We look forward to building that Savannah team out so we can be better prepared for the future hurricane season to come. Our current initiatives, we have some Georgia Vax support going on. We have a couple of three on-site support ops and one remote, as you can read on the slides there. No need to go into that. What we should go into, though, is the Georgia and Alabama sit and sips. As a couple of the other folks have mentioned, they are the first and third Thursday at 7 Eastern. And we're looking at building these back support ops out in all of the states. And we have Neighbors Helping Neighbors opportunities. And one thing I want to bring up, if anybody, we have a Mississippi Neighbors Helping Neighbors opportunity, and this is a good time for me to bring it up because there's over 100 people on the call. A vet that's disabled that needs some help in Mississippi. So if anybody knows of any of their family or their exes or anybody that lives or is around Mississippi, please reach out to us and give us that information so we can make that happen. Biggest part of this, there's so many thank yous to go around. I will read these names out. Billy Beckett and Bob, I think I spelled your name wrong, but it wasn't. I updated it and it's not updated, so you're just going to have to handle that. Billy, Mike, Kathleen, and Robert Castile, Jane, JT, and Bob, and Jeff, and Sherry, and Colton, and Cole, and Flynn. So a lot of these folks, I'm giving a huge shout out because we're pushing these vaccine ops big, and these folks have really stepped up. The first 5 or 6 names there are task force leaders that have stepped up for the long haul at this point for these ops. So I'm grateful for that. And I left one name out, and it is Patty Kurz, and she's been instrumental in getting us connected in the state of Georgia. Thank you guys for everything. Looking forward. And also, I don't know how to do that clapping and heart thing. So if anybody wants to reach out to me offline, I'd love to learn how to do that. Nice. Do we get a like special award for all the look at that? Thanks, y'all. Appreciate everything.
We appreciate you too, Jimmy. Thank you for covering down. Rolling up to Kate and team.
Hey guys, thanks. Sorry, I'm in the car driving back from an op. First thing that I want to do is give a huge shout out to the Tennessee and Kentucky geographic team. Going to highlight a couple of things. We have Op Iron Mountain, which should be kicking off with first operational period tomorrow. Op board will be approved for that tonight. That is going to be a flooding op in Eastern Kentucky. Super excited about getting folks out there, getting dirty and getting some shit done in a community that really needs the assistance for a disaster that has not gotten any attention in the media. I also want to give a shout out to Alex Groff, who served as the IC on Op Highland Quick Cut. The reason it's called Highland Quick Cut is because we received an ask at 9:30 a.m. on a Saturday to execute route clearance in response to Winter Storm Uri, to the ice storm in particular. Alex stepped up as an IC for the first time and absolutely crushed it. We went to OpOrd for that, and I want to give a shout out to our planning team, literally our whole leadership team. Everybody came together. We went from ask to OpOrd literally in 8 hours and had gray shirts on the ground executing route clearance. We opened up 8 county roads for that community to be able to come in and get power restored. Followed that up with an ask from the EM for us to come back for debris cleanup, which resulted in Op Highland Thaw, which is currently going on in Livingston, Overton County, Tennessee. We have completed nearly 50 work orders at that operation, and we still have a little over a week to go. So super excited that that team has been able to go into the community and absolutely crush it, make an impact on a huge area that is extremely low income, full of elderly and disabled folks. We've definitely put ourselves on the map. Been able to work in collaboration with Inspiritus as well, building really great partnerships as a result of these operations. And I could not be more proud of our team. We're also working on upcoming initiatives with the Department of Forestry here in Tennessee for fire mitigation. We were able to establish those relationships because of a conversation that our West Tennessee Metro admin, Adam Jarvis, had with the Department of Forestry. And then we were able to work with their sawyers at Op Highland Quick Cut. So that just strengthened that relationship even more. But very proud of our team. We do have some new leaders that are joining the roster, and I will be glad to shout them out next month. I've been a little bit busy, so I apologize for kind of not an updated slide, but could not be more proud of my team, and I will continue to sing their praises every day because they make this the best job in the world. That's it.
Thank you, Kate. And I believe that wraps up our geographic roundup. So we're going to start driving into our operations update. I believe.
I got this, Drew.
Thank you, sir.
Cool. All right. So as you know, Winter Storm Uri challenged our country, parts of our country, but your gray shirts are rising up to the challenge and more than meeting it. You've heard about some of the great operations so far in the area. Briefs, here's some other ones, whether it is soil work or muck out work, your gray shirts are getting out there, your gray shirts are getting after it. Next slide, please. Simultaneously, which means at the same time, gray shirts, you all and your friends are leading the counterattack on turning vaccines into vaccinations. Here's just some of them. There are more out there. There are more coming up, but this is how we turn the corner on this COVID virus. So that's all I have. Back to you, Drew.
Thank you, Oscar. Delightfully concise, incredibly impactful. Moving on to our planning team, Farago and Co., covering for Steve, who is in Korea.
So this is Elizabeth. So as you all have seen and heard throughout all the other briefs, there is a lot going on with planning. Many of you were on the mission planning call just an hour before this. So the biggest update we have for planning is that all mission planning calls that happen will be condensed into one or consolidated into one every evening. So look out for those at 6 p.m. throughout the week and 3 p.m. on the weekends if we have multiple MPTs going on. Everyone as volunteer leaders are welcome to join those for SA for Learning. So please jump on if you would like to. This is just the cover from what we did in tonight's call. With that, we have streamlined the RFA process for VAC support as well as for all of the winter storm and future storm requests. So if you do have an RFA come in, pass that up to your ops associate. We are continuing to work on streamlining communications, so be on the lookout for an update as to how we will be communicating and doing mission planning team comms as we go forward, not just the calls, but on Teams. And the big thing to keep an eye on is every second Monday of the month, we are going to be having our planners call. So make sure you're jumping on that if you are a planner. But shout out to everyone who has been kicking it, getting all these things planned. Really appreciate you guys' help.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I will add on to what she just said and only say that I think the one consistent takeaway from all operational planning AARs I've heard recently is that we need more planners. So if you are curious about planning, if you hop onto those calls and like what you hear, please do let us know. We'll get you squared away, get you doing some planning. Thank you, Elizabeth. Over to field ops. I think this is back to Oscar.
Yes, we need planners so that we can have operations. In branch field operations, our purpose is to develop and track. Fundamentally, it's to develop you, the gray shirt, to be an operational leader. Our fearless leader is Tracy. We have great folks, Jeffrey and Jose, focusing on these areas of the country. If you're in them, talk to your associate and they can link you up with the training that's available. In February, we conducted a couple of training sessions. In March, you can see on those particular dates, you can look forward to understanding a little more about field technology and the plans and ops process training. And we'll have more to follow on that. Next slide, please. Big news, if you're in a command and general staff leadership, is the transition from Palantir to the EMS. It's going to pilot later this month, early next month. We'll have videos, we'll have training, and it will go live this summer. And so I encourage you to do some of the training and be prepared for hurricane season. As part of that, we will continue to have our field operations call the first Wednesday of the month. There are the times out there, and it's for anyone and everyone who has operations as a role or wants to know about field operations. That's all I have. Thank you. Back to you, Drew.
Thank you, Oscar. A quick pause. Had a hand from Ed Carr. Ed, sir, what is your question, my friend? Or if it was answered, we can keep rolling. We'll keep rolling if you remember, or if you just aren't able to unmute, drop in the chat. We'll get you an answer. Driving into logistics updates.
All right, howdy, folks. As you've heard said before, we need logs leaders. If this could be you or someone you know, please reach out to your ops associate for some more information. For the logs folks, important date will be tomorrow night. Actually, we'll be having our branch logistics meeting, and all of our inventories of the cash trailer co-op kits are due on March 17th. So that's it for now.
Thank you, Kim. And into our training team, Lisa and Co.
Good evening, everybody. We continue to have virtual training in coming up. Will be train the trainers for virtual instructors. You'll see those published on April 1st. So if anybody's interested in being a virtual instructor, please reach out to Jimmy or myself, and we'll try our best to either get you on the list or see what pathways you're looking at.
Thank you, Lisa. And one thing that I think you may have heard or will hear more and more of, guys, is the intent to incorporate training into our operations. We've noticed that in the last couple of operations we've launched is a lack of trained gray shirts, which is a direct reflection of not being able to run trainings independent of operations. So we're going to more and more be looking to source and staff operations with training staff so that we can train people on the ground and then throw them right into the fight. So stand by for more on that. And if you're an instructor, be in close contact with your field ops reps. Over to our membership update.
Hey, so I'm Laura with the membership team for South Branch. South Branch membership is currently prioritizing making sure that everybody knows how to do the best damn outreach anywhere in TR in the world. So we're going to make sure our membership leaders have the most exciting training all in one location. They're going to receive a personalizable welcome email template, which suggests what to put where roughly in the email and what not to forget to include. Information on how to find new gray shirts in EMS, what are needing outreach, and how to properly document that outreach so that everybody can see that that person has been reached out to and if they have reached back. We're going to be updating SharePoint resources for membership leaders. In one handy dandy place on the South Branch page, there's going to be all the things you might want to know or need to know if you are a membership leader. Turns out there's a whole lot of really awesome documents and things out there, which will save a lot of wheel reinventing. Also, most importantly, the very first episode of the New Year's Gray Matter game show looks like it's going to be a family feud. There's some sisters and a mother-daughter team. And so there's the link to where you can find the deets on that. And most importantly, we want to welcome our lifeblood, our new membership leaders. Pamela, I am not going to try to pronounce that last name, for the Central Carolinas area, and then Kathleen Cook for the Western Carolinas area. I was on some of those interviews, and they are some really awesome folks, and I'm super excited to have them with us. And that's all from me.
Thank you, Laura. Keep doing that outreach, y'all, because we definitely need the bodies out in the field. All right, I'm going to, I think, manage the tech remote date a little bit remotely. Amanda is not here because she had a conflict, but she did put together this message for everybody. If I can make this work. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. I don't know what's happening. I may have broken the slide. All right, stand by, stand by, stand by. Nope, broken again. All right, we're going to try one more thing here. If this doesn't work, Amanda's message will be sent to the people in another manner because her video is not working.
Hey everyone, this is a quick demo of the new South Branch Teams and SharePoint environments. So in South Branch Teams, we have a series of channels. Some of this replicates the numbering system that we were using in South Central Territory. So we have the O1 series, which is the announcements, and the Watchtower, which is used for any weather or disaster updates, tornado warnings, hurricane storms coming in, etc. The O2 series is based on functional areas, but there is a slight difference from the previous Teams environment. These channels are called Ask and then a functional area, and the intent here is that any leader in South Branch can ask the subject matter experts in a particular field specific questions. So a good example of this would be the Ask Finance channel, where it looks like Eric has asked a few questions related to emails received about setting up Concur accounts or how to change his address on a PEX card. So those are great examples where any leader can reach out and ask the finance team finance-related questions. Another good example is in the Ask Mobilization channel. There was a question from Jude about a gray shirt being unsure what type of billeting was available at an operation. And, you know, that's a great question that mobilization would have an answer to. So these are kind of examples where you can ask the team any questions related to their function that they work in. I'll talk a little bit in a second about where members within a particular team can collaborate with each other. The O3 series is specific to geographic areas, so there are 8 of those for the different geographic areas. The O4 series is essentially like kind of like special interest. So the Cheers for Peers channel is where you can give a shout out if someone's been, you know, crushing it, kicking ass, doing an awesome job. We have the cute things of South Branch, dogs, cats, and pictures of Teddy. There's an EMS Views, Dashboards, and More channel for just tips and tricks around any of the technology that we use. There's a random channel. There are a few other O4 series like Amateur Radio, the Book Club, or Chainsaws, if you like talking about those things. The O5 series is not currently in use. It's a placeholder, but eventually we'll be having leadership conferences. And so we use that series for coordination and collaboration around conferences. And then there's a O6 is if you're a Clay Hunt Fellow, that one's private. And then some staff channels. So that's kind of like the South Branch teams in a nutshell. For leaders who are, you know, communications leaders, membership, technology, any of the functional areas that want to collaborate with other leaders in South Branch, there's actually a South Branch channel available in all of the different functional leader teams. So in the membership leaders team, we have a South Branch where membership could talk to each other. There's a South Branch channel for administrators within South Branch. You know, planning leaders has a South Branch, etc. So every functional area should have a South Branch channel, and that's where leaders within South Branch can talk to each other. And the nice thing about that is if anyone has a question, they can reach out to the kind of like subject matter experts within the field. So as an example, if South Branch Communications, if they're talking to each other and collaborating and they had a question, they could tag in any of the Marcoms people from national or comms leaders from other branches to collaborate together or ask questions, share best practice. So it's really a great place for leaders within a functional area to really like kind of hone their practice and communicate with each other in coordination with other subject matter experts in that same function. So that's an overview of teams in a nutshell. We also have South Branch SharePoint growing and evolving. It's pretty exciting. So you can find the South Branch page from any SharePoint page. There's a branches menu, and then you would just pick the South Branch page. We will eventually be depreciating the South Central and Southeast pages, probably at the end of the month. So on the South Branch page, there's a few links to handy resources. There's a web part for South Branch documents, which is also listed here in the left navigation. This link takes you to Teams, so it actually launches Microsoft Teams. As we go into the South Branch documents, there's a folder set up for each of the geographic areas. We also have an archive of the all hands. So tonight's slide deck and recording will be available here. There's some maps to some metro boundaries. We're building some resources for new leaders, and we also have like a staff collaboration area. We also on the left navigation have links to each of the functional pages for South Branch. And each geographic area has its own page that can be customized and tailored based on how the ops associate would like that. We're also building out a new leader resources area. So this is still under construction, but essentially we're hoping to have kind of like a one-stop shop for anytime someone becomes a new leader, where they can request their PEX card, set up Outlook on their mobile phone, set up their email signature, find the schedule or calendar for all of the onboarding sessions, etc. So this will hopefully be a really handy resource for them once it's kind of built out. We also have the org chart and distros. So last month, we gave a demonstration of the South Branch org chart, and you can find that here off of the left navigation. This hyperlink actually opens the chart in its own tab. So if you don't want to look at it in kind of this small screen space, you can have your entire screen for the org chart, or you can use the embedded visualization. If you hover over the middle, it's going to give you tabs across the bottom where you can click on any of the geographic areas and get to the org chart for that particular geo area, or flip it back to branch level if you want to look there. Below that, we actually have descriptions of each of the distribution lists. So there are distro lists based on geographic areas. Distro lists for the entire branch based on functional area, but there's also ones for generalists and instructors, things like that. And then there are instructor-specific distribution lists for South Branch. So you can find how to contact different groups of people using that page. We also have a recognition page. This is still under construction. We haven't given any awards yet within South Branch, but as we do, we'll make sure to update this so everyone can kind of see everyone's hard work. And then this reports and dashboards is a couple of resources that are across all the different branches. So there are some EMS resources, operation, business updates, etc. And then this Power BI is operations department specific as well. So it's got a few tabs here across the bottom, and you can explore different metrics that are available there. So that's pretty much Teams and SharePoint in a nutshell. Thank you.
No, thank you, Amanda. So hopefully everybody saw that all right. Apologies for the rough start on getting it off the ground. And if you have questions about SharePoint or any of the different aspects of what we just saw there, we can follow up with Amanda. She is, as you guys know, very available on Teams and in chat, and always happy to share. I'm going to get the deck going again, but the wellness crew is up next, so I will hand it to them.
Oh no, am I unmuted? It says I'm muted still. Can anyone
I can hear you, Matt.
All right, we'll just ignore that then. Hi guys, my name is Apri. I'm covering down for wellness. I want to first welcome a few of our new people. We have been growing like crazy, so just everyone keep an eye out. Wellness is doing awesome things and we're going to be the best. So first up, we've got two new people down in Florida. We've got Robert Walls, who's going to be our lead down there, and he is going to be helped out with his new deputy, Roy. And we also have 4 people in the pipeline who are coming into the wellness area. So really looking forward to all the great things that we're going to be able to do. So starting with that, our first one is our next workshop is coming up on March 24th at 6 p.m. Central Time. We are going to be combining the burnout workshop with the resiliency one for its first test drive to see how those do as a combined effort. If you've taken burnout workshop before, come back, see the new and revised one. I'd love some more feedback. We're hoping to get these pushed out about once every other month or so, possibly even more, depending on the feedback we get. So we've got that coming up. I want to give another shout out for the Gray Matter. It's going to be Jen Nieder and her daughter, as well as myself and my sister. And really, guys, it's the hosts that you're coming for. We've got Trish, Lucas, and Cal from the Knock who are going to be hosting this, and it's going to be St. Patty's Day themed. So I highly encourage everyone to show up for this. We are also going to be working to incorporate more physical fitness into wellness and trying to help people understand how important physical fitness or just physical health in general is to our mental health. We're continuing to work on our care packages and cards, as well as creating a robust resource guide. And finally, our team is working on trying to create some standard operating procedures for how to help gray shirts in crisis, which you'll find our materials off to the right there with the Suicide Prevention Lifeline, as well as the email address that gray shirts can go to if they're needing some help with services. We had a great example of this come up with the Hey Abbott op this past weekend. We were able to, as wellness, help out the homeowner that we were assisting with some resources. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing how wellness can start to provide more resources to the homeowners that we're assisting. And that is it for wellness.
Thank you, Apri. I feel better already. Over to Com.
Awesome. So it's Elizabeth, Jeremy, and I are going to tag team this one. So as you guys have probably all been seeing, if you're tracking anything on social, the social media consolidation is underway with an end date of March 30th. And as you heard Amanda say, this coincide with the consolidation of the teams as well. So we have 8 Facebook groups that we will keep. And they have all been identified on Facebook. So encourage your gray shirts in your local area to be paying attention to the right channels. You will see an "It's time to move" at the top of channels that are disappearing, or groups that are disappearing. I'm going to make sure my words matter, so I'm making sure I use the right words. With that, something we are also looking for is a new logo. So if you have an idea or you know someone who is creative in your area, have them send us a logo for the South Branch, and there will be a little competition to see which gets selected. With that, I am going to pass it over to Jeremy, who will talk a little bit more about comms restructuring.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Can you go to the next page, whatever that thing is? Thank you. What we've done with the comms, and this is across the organization, is comms has been broken down into more of a functional capability versus having a singular leader try to cover down on every single thing. So we'll be looking at the media relations piece, which is going to focus on press releases and actual PIO type stuff. Having folks look at the social media, they'll be responsible for covering down on that. And it'll be a lot easier now that we're going to go from 21 pages in groups to 8 groups, 1 page, words matter. I figured that out. We're also working to get photography leads and coordinators. And then for everybody's edification, that South Branch Comms event lead piece is still going to cover down on the geographic areas. I think right now we have 3 folks in that area to be able to cover that down. So they'll be covering down on more than 1 geo area, but eventually we'll build that out to create a capability similar to what we had at the state level and the geo areas before the consolidation. So we'll eventually have that capability, but that's how that comms is going the comms event lead is going to be built. So we'll more to follow. We're finalizing it this week with our comms leads. We're going to be having some more calls and emails with them. But what it does overall is it allows us to be able to better support our volunteer leaders, our volunteers, and get more notification and capability to support the good shit that all of our gray shirts do. That's all I've got. Back to you, Drew.
Hey, Jeremy, you had a question drop into the chat. Just by way of example, could you explain maybe like what a photography coordinator would do?
So that one is still being built for the most part. I've got a meeting later this week with the national cadre coordinator with that. So I will get back to the group here once we figured that piece out.
Cool. Well, I'm going to guess something with pictures, Marcus, something with pictures. Thanks everybody for the comms update though. I love seeing it develop and get built out. Rolling right along, we're going to kick it over to our mobilization team. Abe, are you on?
Yep, I'm on. It's everybody's favorite subject, mobilization. So recently we've had problems with certain volunteers not getting notifications. We were able to identify the problem as that people getting involuntarily added to the unsubscribed list. So we fixed that problem. So now what you can do is you can go into any email that TR sends you, and you can go down to the email preferences and make sure that all of your interests are updated. So if you want the operational information, you need to tag that. And we will continue to monitor the notification situation if you guys aren't getting notifications, even though you've updated these. But please make sure that you update them first before reaching out about having any problems. And anything else from mobilization, what we got is we have people self-deploying to operations. Jeremy asked me to share this with you guys. Just because a gray shirt went on an operation one time does not give them they should not be showing up just the next time just because they went the last time. So they need to re-sign up for operations. If they're having any problems with that, feel free to reach out to any of the mob leads in their area and we can get that problem fixed. But right now we don't, to fix it on the back end when somebody's self-deploying is not a process that we want to start, especially as we get into these major hurricane seasons that's starting 2 weeks early this year. So that's all I have for mobilization. Thanks.
Thanks, Abe. And guys, the resubscribe thing is a huge comms push from us to get everyone tracking and checking their info. I can tell you most of the staff team was unsubscribed from everything but Neighbors Helping Neighbors updates. Lots of the volunteers who I know who deploy a ton were unsubscribed from everything but Neighbors Helping Neighbors updates. So if you're not sure, double check. And if you are sure, still double check. We want to make sure you're getting those op notifications so you can get to the field, because that's where all the good stuff happens. All right, rolling right along. We are at our Give 'em One. Our Give 'em One this week goes to Chase Adams, who's the handsome gentleman all the way to the left in this photo of ass kickers from Midland, Texas. Chase just deployed for, I believe it was 6 continuous weeks as log section chief out in Midland. Definitely won an Ironman award with solid ongoing support for a really cool and kind of unique operation supporting an area that was definitely underserved and definitely not a base of strength for Team Rubicon, though I believe we now have recruited some leaders there, thanks in part to efforts like Chase and the awesome team who rotated through with him over those 6 weeks. So thank you, Chase, for that. If you're not sure what Give 'em One means, by the way, Give 'em One is you only get one clap. You don't get a full round of applause because that's all we can afford in our nonprofit. So he gets one clap. One clap for Chase Adams. If you see him, give him a high five, give him a beer, give him a hug. Don't give him a hug. We're still in coronavirus. Give him a distanced elbow bump. Into our announcements, saved rounds. Any presenters have any saved rounds from their call slide that they forgot? Don't see any hands or comments in the chat. My only saved round is an emphasis of that ongoing nightly mission planning call. There's so much good work happening across the branch right now. It is really, really cool to see. If you haven't taken an hour out of your night to drop in and see what's going on, definitely give it some time. Also, you're going to see some things that hopefully get you inspired to hop in, help plan submissions, maybe jump into the field, swing a saw, swing a hammer, stick a needle in an arm, whatever it is, we need you doing it. I think that wraps it up from me. I'm going to hand it over to our fearless leader, Mr. Jim Flory.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Yeah, we're coming up on our hour, which we usually never make. We usually go a little long, and that's okay. So just want to hit a couple high points. The South Branch Teams channel is up and is up and running, so please use it. Try to keep everything there. We are a South Branch. Yes, we will always have identities back to our territories or our regions or whatever you remember when you came on. But we're seeing some really great integration. The work of the ops associates going out over and helping in Texas. with different metro areas is a big example of that. Boy, come hurricane season, when Florida gets nailed, Brittany's going to need help, managing operations standing up in her state, and we'll be there. And we've proven that. One of my key messages has been, along with Uri and the rain and the snow and the tornadoes, was break processes. I want to see people finding those things that are roadblocks, breaking the process, remaking it in the better image, so that we improve. And to that end, I've asked Elizabeth Saunders to head up a hot wash of what's been going on for the last couple weeks, because I want to know what went well. We want to reinforce the things we did right, but we definitely want to identify the things we can improve on. Keep it positive, come up with solutions if you're asked, but overall, and most importantly, be honest. If we have a process that's broken, we want to talk about it. I don't, my words were, I don't want a whitewash, I want a hot wash. So be honest. If she reaches out to you and asks for your opinion or your experience, please talk to her and answer her quickly. Yeah, so the thing I want to pass down to you, and I don't know what our count was in leaders. I think I saw 109 at one point. Where are we at? So I think I saw a high of 109, but we're hovering right around 100 people here. This is your opportunity to get the message and to pass it down. So take this opportunity about things you learn here. For instance, the email preferences, pass that down to your gray shirts. Let them know about that problem and suggest that they update their email preferences just in case, or at least check them. But that's what we have you guys for, is not only you do the work, but you're our conduit down to the rank and file gray shirt, who is the backbone of this organization. So that's all I have. I'm extremely proud of the work all of you guys have done. I basically just have to interact with the bosses and kind of be the shock absorber between them and us. And you make my life a lot easier. You make my job a lot easier. So I appreciate everything you're doing for us. That's it. That's all I have. I don't want to take up too much time. I appreciate everything you guys do.